Okay, I want the topic of this video to be, why am I vegan? The reason that I'm vegan is because that I believe that compassion and ethics are fundamental parts of our human experience. I think that our ability to empathize and maintain a sense of compassion for other living sentient beings is really important, because it shows us that the inside and the outside are not so disconnected in terms of, how can I say that in a less overly philosophical, spiritual way? I think that when we can empathize and we can recognize what it would feel like if that harm was being done to us, if you see a cow having its throat slit, you can imagine your child or your brother or your sister or your uncle or your mother or your child having the same thing done to them, or even yourself. And then you think about the unpredictability of existence itself, and the fact that you are just this conscious being existing in space just by happenstance. I mean, not completely by happenstance. There was millions of years of evolution and biology and things that went into that part of that equation, but it's also just, you were just spawned into this experience, right? You just find yourself immersed in it. And that's the same exact thing for these farm animals, that we've arbitrarily decided that they are for our consumption and for our own benefit, and they get treated horrifically. Female cows, if you've watched any documentaries, like Dominion is one that I would recommend. Dominion is a really good documentary. It's narrated by Joaquin Phoenix, the actor who plays the Joker. It's River Phoenix's brother. Where was I going with that? I think that, how can I say that, like, many non-vegans will say to me, well, you're making an argument for veganism from an ethical perspective, but why should I care? Why should I care about pain and suffering? Someone that asks that kind of question, I feel like they need to find themselves in a position where they're experiencing pain and suffering, and I'm sure they have prior to this question being asked to them. But you have your hand on a hot stove for 5 minutes. Is suffering nice? Is it pleasurable? Is it something that you want to avoid? Is it something that you should avoid? I think it is. I think it's something that we should fundamentally avoid, is unnecessarily damaging ourselves. And when we decide what is necessary and what is unnecessary, is your taste preferences, does that outweigh the intrinsic value that the life of an animal has? Just like I believe that whoever watching this, I believe that your life has intrinsic value. I believe that a cat's life has intrinsic value. I believe that any animal has intrinsic value. Now you can kind of squash this down and be like, okay, what about an insect that you step on when you're going for a walk, or the slugs that you step on in the grass, or the all the ways in which you contribute to suffering. But it's unavoidable, those kind of suffering. I am a human being that is going to cause suffering in some way, but I'm trying to shrink that down, and I'm trying to create less suffering, and I'm not going to go out of my way to buy the products that I can easily avoid buying. I can just go to the other side of the shelf and buy a vegan alternative, or I can just live off a simple diet, because I don't believe that my taste buds are as important as an animal's life and an animal's well-being. Not only the intrinsic value that I believe that life has, because not everyone shares that belief for some reason, but they're sentient, they're conscious, they have an experience and awareness just like you. Cows and pigs are oftentimes more intelligent than dogs, and cows literally cry when they have their calves torn away from them. I mean, just look at the way that we disrespectfully treat the planet, the oceans, how contaminated they are, the air we breathe. Just look at the way that we can't even treat each other right, you know? How can we begin to treat each other right with equality and respect and dignity when we're torturing living beings day in, day out? And I know people hate to use this word in relation to animals, but it's one of the worst Holocaust that has ever happened is going on currently, and it has been for hundreds of years. So that is why, yeah, that's why I'm vegan. So if I could recommend to anyone watching this, I don't think that I'm better than you. I don't think that I'm above you on any kind of hierarchy. I don't think I'm superior to you. I just think that we need to treat the world better, and we need to treat the lives that live on this strange rotating sphere in outer space, just this mass of matter. We need to treat the life on it better, you know, even the planet itself. I mean, where do we even draw the line at establishing what is conscious and what's unconscious, you know? Is it because it has a nervous system? I mean, okay, sure, but then how do we even measure consciousness? You know, it's the hard problem of consciousness. So, yeah, that's why I'm vegan, and I'd recommend anyone that's watching this to just, what do you have to lose, you know? Just watch watch the documentary Dominion, and just immerse yourself more in vegan content. There are some pretty crazy, wacky vegan YouTubers out there, but I would recommend putting yourself out there and just educating yourself, you know, and seeing how it feels, you know. So I think that's why I'm vegan, and thanks for watching.